Reverse psychology. How a woman reacts when she realizes you've lost interest. Old Stoic wisdom. The moment a woman you've been ignoring suddenly reaches out to you, it can stir up a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. Do you respond quickly, potentially sabotaging the power you've built? Or do you maintain your composure and keep her in suspense? In these moments, many men falter because they misinterpret the underlying dynamics. Responding too eagerly conveys desperation, while ignoring her without a plan makes you seem indifferent, or worse, weak. The key is understanding her motive for reaching out. It's rarely as simple as missing you. More often, it's a test of your value, your emotional discipline, and your ability to maintain control. Women, whether consciously or not, are constantly evaluating. When she reaches out, she's not just seeking connection, she's checking your emotional state. Has your desire for her faded? Are you still emotionally tethered to her? Or have you elevated your value and moved on? These are the questions she is silently asking. How you respond, or if you respond at all, will shape her perception of you moving forward. In these moments, it's not just about her, it's about how you define yourself as a man. Will you show emotional restraint or crumble at the attention? This is where true confidence is built. It's not about being cold or distant, but about showing that your emotional stability is unwavering. In the realm of modern dating, the men who hold strong boundaries and maintain their value are the ones who attract the most respect. To navigate the situation with grace, you must first understand her behavior, decide on a response that enhances your value, and use the opportunity to reinforce your strength. Remember, mastering these moments is key to playing the game right. As you reflect on this, here's a quote that sums it up. Love is not about possession, it's about appreciation. If you want to learn how to play this game and win consistently, I have created a platform where I teach men how to build solid, meaningful relationships with women. These videos break down every step, equipping you with practical tools to attract, keep, and lead in relationships with unwavering confidence. Don't wait. Click the link below and secure your spot. And if you know someone who could benefit, share this with them. Now, let's dive deeper into the content of this video. 1. Analyze why she's reaching out. When a woman reaches out to you, it's essential to recognize that her actions are rarely random, particularly in the context of relationships. Women typically act with intent, and her decision to make contact should be viewed as a calculated move rather than an impulsive one. The first step in navigating this moment is to analyze her reasons for reaching out. It could stem from curiosity, insecurity, loneliness, or even a desire to reassert control. Each of these motivations carries its own implications, so it's crucial to decipher her underlying intentions before responding. Ask yourself key questions. What's the timing of her message? Did she reach out after weeks of silence, or perhaps after seeing something on your social media that caught her attention? Timing, in itself, is a valuable clue. If it's been some time since you last communicated, it's possible she's testing the waters to gauge whether you're still interested. Alternatively, if she reached out after seeing a post where you appeared confident, successful, or surrounded by others, her message may stem from feelings of jealousy or fear of losing you. The timing of her contact isn't a coincidence. It reveals much about her emotional state and intentions. Next, pay attention to her tone. This can further shed light on what she expects from you. Is her tone casual, as though nothing happened? If so, she may be attempting to maintain control and keep things as they were. On the other hand, if her tone is apologetic, she might be trying to repair a past mistake or restore lost emotional ground. A playful tone could suggest that she's testing to see if you're still willing to engage or if she still has the power to capture your attention. In each case, her tone acts as a signpost to what she's hoping for from you, whether it's validation, an emotional reaction, or simply a check-in on your emotional availability. Understanding this is critical because it tells you not only how to respond, but also how to ensure your reaction doesn't inadvertently give her control over the situation. Another factor to consider is the history of your interaction. Were you ignoring her because she disrespected you or because you were setting healthy boundaries? If she's reaching out after having disrespected you, it's likely a test of how far she can push. But if you've been setting boundaries and she reaches out after a period of silence, she may be acknowledging your strength and emotional resilience. Either way, your response, or lack thereof, will set the tone for the next phase of your relationship. This is the part where many men fail. They react impulsively, allowing emotions to cloud their judgment. Women are expert emotional manipulators, but this isn't a critique, it's a reality. They use emotions to disarm, and if you allow them to, you may end up handing over the power in the relationship. A quick, emotional, or eager response signals to her that she still has a grip on you, reinforcing her control. However, if you take a moment to assess the situation logically, you show that her reach out doesn't alter your frame of mind or influence your sense of self. The key to maintaining control lies in reminding yourself of your own value. You are not at her beck and call simply because she decided to reach out. It's essential to take the time to assess whether her motives align with your desires. Is she genuinely interested in you, or is this simply a tactic to feed her ego? A powerful man understands that his actions should not be dictated by anyone else's whims, but should instead reflect his values, goals, and boundaries. By staying composed and making a logical decision, you retain control over the situation, setting a foundation for the future interaction. Analyzing her reasons for reaching out puts you in the driver's seat, allowing you to respond in a way that strengthens your frame rather than diminishes it. This approach is vital because it helps you avoid responding impulsively, which ultimately gives you the upper hand. In the modern dating world, many men make the mistake of reacting too quickly, allowing emotions to cloud their judgment. This is where the power of Stoic wisdom comes into play. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." By maintaining emotional discipline and not rushing to fill her emotional needs, you assert your worth and position yourself as someone who doesn't need to chase validation. Instead, you become someone who remains true to his principles, confident and unaffected by external fluctuations. This self-control doesn't just enhance your attractiveness, it also elevates your value in her eyes. In the end, you'll be better equipped to handle not only this situation, but also future interactions, creating the strong, stable foundation needed for meaningful connections. What's important to remember is that the game is about understanding the dynamics at play. By taking a step back, analysing her behaviour, and responding with confidence, you secure your own position in the relationship. This process is more than just a tactical response. It's about cultivating emotional intelligence, mastering self-control, and embracing the Stoic philosophy that empowers you to act with clarity and purpose. Now that you've understood the core principles behind handling such moments, I want to hear your thoughts. Have you experienced a similar situation? How did you respond, and what was the outcome? Share your experiences and opinions in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. 2. Don't rush to respond. When a woman reaches out to you, it's crucial to resist the temptation to respond immediately, no matter how strong the urge may be. Rushing to reply can send a message of desperation or emotional dependence, which, unfortunately, diminishes your value in her eyes. Women are naturally drawn to men who embody confidence and self-control. The best way to demonstrate these traits is through restraint. A delayed response is a powerful tool that communicates your self-sufficiency and emotional independence. When you take your time to reply, you're sending a message that your life doesn't revolve around her. It shows that you're not anxiously waiting by your phone for her validation. This action shifts the power dynamic in your favour. She begins to wonder if you're busy, if you're disinterested, or if you're simply unfazed by her presence. That uncertainty works wonders in building intrigue and reintroducing the mystery that initially attracted her to you. Modern dating, particularly in the context of Stoic principles, rewards men who understand the value of timing and strategic response, Too often, men fall into the trap of thinking that replying quickly is the polite thing to do. They believe it's the right move to show interest. But in reality, being overly eager communicates the opposite of confidence. A well-timed pause, on the other hand, creates curiosity, and women are naturally attracted to men who leave them guessing. It's important, however, to understand that there's a fine line between playing it cool and ghosting. Ghosting is immature and passive-aggressive, qualities that are beneath a high-value man. The aim isn't to disappear. The goal is to maintain control and respond on your terms. The Stoic approach here is simple. Don't let emotion govern your actions. Pause, take your time, and approach the situation with calm deliberation. A good rule of thumb is to wait a few hours, or even a full day, before responding. During this time, focus on your own activities, whether it's working, exercising, or indulging in your personal hobbies. When you make it clear that your time is valuable and you have other priorities, you elevate your standing in her eyes. This small act of strategic delay also gives you the opportunity to craft a response that strengthens your position. An impulsive reply tends to be reactive and emotional, whereas a delayed response allows you to respond with clarity and composure. The timing gives you control, and you can use this to subtly set the tone for future interactions. Your message should be confident and concise. Avoid over-explaining yourself or letting your emotions spill out. For instance, if she sends a message saying, "Hey, I've been thinking about you," resist the urge to mirror her sentiment and respond with something like, "I've been thinking about you too." Instead, take a more controlled approach and reply with, "Interesting. What's on your mind?" This reply shifts the focus back to her, maintains your control of the conversation, and subtly communicates that you're not overly invested in seeking her validation. It raises the level of intrigue on her end and maintains her interest in you. Ultimately, the delay is about teaching her to respect your time and effort. It's a reflection of your self-worth, and it signals that you're a man with priorities. You don't need to be at her beck and call. Instead, she has to earn her place in your life. Through this strategic pause, you not only retain the upper hand in the interaction, but also demonstrate to her that you are a man of high value, someone who doesn't rush, who is calm under pressure, and who is always in control of his emotions. This approach, grounded in Stoic wisdom, will keep her intrigued, respectful, and most importantly, attracted to you. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting "very interesting" in the comments section. That is a huge motivation for us. Thank you. 3. Respond on your terms. When you master the art of responding on your terms, you reclaim control in any interaction. This means taking the time to analyze the situation before crafting a response, showing that your life and priorities come first. It's crucial not to let emotions dictate your replies. Instead, approach every conversation with intention and purpose. The key here is to assert your value, ensuring that she understands you won't jump through hoops for her. Remember, you are the prize, not her. Resist the temptation to provide generic, eager replies. She needs to sense that you're a man who's engaged in his own life, one who isn't just hanging on her every word. A simple, neutral response like, "What's up?" or "All good," in reply to a casual, "Hey," is far more effective than oversharing or unloading your emotions. This keeps the conversation at arm's length while maintaining a confident air. Your tone matters deeply. Keep it calm, collected, and slightly detached. Don't fall into the trap of seeking approval through your words. This is not the time for long-winded explanations, overcompensating for silence, or sounding overly grateful that she reached out. Each word you send should reaffirm your stance as a man who respects himself and won't bend to her whims. For instance, if she says, "I've been missing you," a response like, "That's unexpected. What brought that on?" works wonders. It acknowledges her feelings but forces her to explain herself, putting the attention on her while keeping you in control. By making her do the talking, you stay ahead in the dynamic. Boundaries are also paramount. Responding on your terms means clearly stating what you're willing to entertain and what you won't tolerate. If her messages hint at manipulation or mixed signals, don't hesitate to subtly call it out. For example, if she says, "I feel like you've been ignoring me," you can reply with, "I've been focused on things that matter to me. What's on your mind?" This response makes it clear that your time and attention are not given freely, and it places the burden on her to justify her presence in your life. Control the pace of the conversation. Don't allow her to dominate the flow or demand instant replies. You set the rhythm. If she sends multiple follow-ups before you've had the chance to respond, remain calm. Her impatience only adds value to your time. Conversely, don't overinvest in the conversation. Show enough engagement to demonstrate confidence, but don't come across as dependent on her attention. Balance is key. Knowing when to disengage is another crucial aspect. If the conversation feels forced, unproductive, or like she's testing your boundaries, it's perfectly fine to end it gracefully. A simple, "I'll catch up with you later," signals that you won't stick around for anything that doesn't serve your purpose. This reinforces your position as a man who values his time and energy over fleeting attention. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. By responding on your terms, you are essentially practicing self-control and discipline, reinforcing your value and ensuring that you are never desperate for anyone's validation. This dynamic sets the foundation for relationships where you lead, and she follows, empowering you to maintain control and always operate from a position of strength. 4. Avoid falling for emotional hooks. When a woman reaches out after a period of silence, it's not always a simple act of reconnecting. More often than not, she's using emotional hooks to test your reaction. These hooks can be subtle, like reminiscing about past conversations, or they can be more direct, like guilt trips or provocative statements designed to pull at your emotions. If you're not careful, you may find yourself falling into her frame, where she sets the emotional tone and you're left reacting. The key to maintaining control in these situations lies in staying composed and evaluating the situation logically, without letting your emotions dictate your actions. Emotional hooks come in many forms, and the first step in avoiding them is recognizing them for what they are. She might appeal to your nostalgia, saying something like, "Remember when we used to talk all night?" This is designed to bring back fond memories and make you feel emotionally obligated to respond. Or she might try to provoke guilt with a statement like, "I feel like you've been avoiding me." This attempt is meant to make you feel guilty for not reaching out, pressuring you to re-engage. Even more subtle are the vulnerable statements, like, "I've been going through a lot lately, and I didn't know who else to talk to." These statements are designed to elicit sympathy and draw you back into her world, making you feel responsible for her emotional state. But the reality is, these hooks are just tactics to shift the power dynamic in her favor. A man who understands the principles of Stoic wisdom knows that emotions should never dictate his behavior. This principle can be applied here. A high-value man doesn't need to react impulsively to emotional manipulation. When you stay composed, you can evaluate the situation more clearly and respond strategically. The first rule in handling emotional hooks is simple. Don't take the bait. If she's using emotional manipulation, recognize it as an attempt to shift the power dynamic. If you respond emotionally, you lose control of the interaction. Instead, maintain neutrality and redirect the conversation back to a logical, unemotional stance. For instance, if she says, "I've been going through a lot," instead of diving into her emotions, you could calmly reply, "I hope you're managing. What's your plan to handle it?" This response shows concern, but it keeps the conversation grounded without overinvesting emotionally. If she attempts to make you feel bad by saying, "I've been hanging out with a new friend," resist the urge to show jealousy or insecurity. Instead, you could respond with, "Sounds like you've been keeping busy," signaling that you are unaffected and confident. This approach shows that you're not desperate for her attention and that you can maintain your own emotional balance. Flattery is another common emotional hook. She might say, "I've really missed talking to you," or "No one gets me the way you do," While it may feel good to hear these compliments, it's essential not to let them cloud your judgment. Flattery can be a tactic to lower your guard and provoke an emotional response. A confident man appreciates the compliment, but doesn't let it dictate his actions. A simple "glad to hear that" acknowledges the praise without overindulging in it, maintaining the emotional distance necessary to keep the power dynamic in your favor. Finally, always stay aware of your boundaries. If she tries to guilt-trip you or manipulate the conversation, don't hesitate to reassert your position. If she says, "You don't care about me anymore," a strong response would be, "I care about myself enough to avoid unnecessary drama." This response makes it clear that you're not interested in playing games or entertaining manipulation. By staying firm in your boundaries, you communicate that you're not easily swayed by emotional tactics and that you expect respect in your interactions. Avoiding emotional hooks is all about maintaining your composure. When you control your emotions, you control the interaction, positioning yourself as the leader in the relationship. This isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's about being emotionally disciplined, ensuring that your responses are based on your values, not on emotional manipulation. A man who remains grounded and unshaken in the face of these emotional hooks earns respect and admiration. In real life, this principle translates to everyday interactions with women and people in general. The ability to stay calm and collected, to evaluate situations without falling prey to emotional manipulation, will set you apart as a man of strength and wisdom. As you navigate relationships, always remember that your emotional stability is one of your greatest assets. When you control the emotional tone, you remain in control of the situation. Comment to remember: emotional discipline is the key to maintaining control. 5. Test her intentions before fully re-engaging. When a woman reaches out to you, it's important to pause and consider her true intentions before diving back into the relationship. Too often, people act out of self-interest, and in the realm of dating, this is no different. While her message might seem like an attempt to reconnect, it could just as easily be a move to boost her ego, alleviate boredom, or test if she still holds some level of control over you. Therefore, it's essential not to take her message at face value. Instead of rushing to re-engage, approach this moment strategically by testing her intentions through subtle but meaningful ways. One of the first and most telling tests is gauging her level of effort. If her initial message is vague, like a simple "hey," don't jump in with an overzealous attempt to create conversation. Keep your response neutral and brief, such as "Hey, what's up?" This gives her the opportunity to invest in the conversation further. If she truly values reconnecting with you, she'll make an effort to keep the discussion going. On the other hand, if she doesn't follow up or gives a shallow response, it's likely that her initial message was motivated by something less substantial, like a passing whim or a need for attention. Another way to test her intentions is by asking light but insightful questions that gently probe her motivations. For instance, you could ask, "What made you think of me?" Or, "What are you hoping to catch up on?" These questions aren't confrontational, but they force her to reflect on why she reached out. Pay close attention to how she responds. If she's sincere, she might offer a meaningful explanation, perhaps acknowledging her past behavior or expressing a genuine desire to reconnect. However, if she skirts the question or gives a superficial reply, it could be a sign that her intentions aren't as genuine as she lets on. This kind of response could signal that she's more interested in a fleeting connection or in testing the waters rather than seeking a true reconnection. It's also crucial to observe her consistency. Many women might reach out, stir your interest, and then disappear for days without explanation once they've received the attention they craved. If this happens, don't be fooled. A woman with genuine interest will maintain steady communication and demonstrate a consistent effort to rebuild trust and deepen the connection. Inconsistent messaging is a red flag. It suggests she's toying with your emotions or seeking attention in an inconsistent manner. You deserve someone who is reliable and invested, not someone who dips in and out of your life when it suits them. Testing her intentions also involves setting small but clear boundaries. For instance, If she suggests meeting up, don't rush into agreeing right away. A strong, confident response would be something like, "I'm busy this week, but maybe we can figure something out later." This not only signals that your time is valuable, but it also gives her a chance to demonstrate her sincerity. If she's truly interested, she will make the effort to work around your schedule or will follow up later to make concrete plans. However, if she becomes defensive, impatient, or dismissive, that could signal that she's more interested in having things her way rather than making an effort for the relationship to grow on mutual terms. Finally, pay attention to how she reacts when immediate gratification isn't available. A woman who is genuinely interested in you will respect your pace and the boundaries you've set. If she pressures you, guilts you, or tries to manipulate you into responding quicker or giving her what she wants, that's a major red flag. It reveals a focus on control rather than on building a meaningful connection. A woman with good intentions won't force or rush the process. She will give you space and respect your boundaries. Ultimately, testing her intentions isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about protecting your own value and ensuring that any reconnection serves your best interests. By making her prove her sincerity, you're placing the interaction on your terms, which is the most powerful position you can be in. In modern life, this approach not only keeps you in control, but also ensures that your emotional energy is spent on someone who truly values and respects you. 6. Don't abandon your frame. The greatest mistake you can make in any interaction with a woman is abandoning your frame. Your frame is the foundation of who you are, your standards, values, and expectations. It's the essence of your confidence and identity as a man. Once you compromise that frame to accommodate her, you not only lose control of the interaction, but you also lose her respect. Many men unconsciously give up their frame when a woman reappears in their life, especially after a period of absence. They soften their boundaries, become overly accommodating, and allow her to dictate the pace and tone of the interaction. This stems from a scarcity mindset, the fear that if you don't bend to her will, she'll disappear again. But remember, true strength lies in maintaining your frame. The more you hold your ground, the more she will respect you, and the more she will see you as a high-value man. Sticking to your frame begins with self-awareness. Know who you are, what you want, and what you deserve. If her past behavior has disrespected your time, boundaries, or effort, don't turn a blind eye to it just because she suddenly shows interest again. Address it subtly but firmly. For instance, if she disappeared without explanation and now wants to pick up where things left off, say, "I don't entertain inconsistent behavior. What's changed?" This is a firm yet non-confrontational way to establish your boundary. Never let her dictate the terms of the interaction. If she reaches out late at night or sends vague, non-committal messages, you are under no obligation to respond immediately or engage deeply. Keep your standards high. A simple, "let's talk another time," or even no response at all, sends the message that your time is valuable and she needs to meet you on your level. Maintaining your frame also means resisting the temptation to overcompensate when she reappears. Some men feel the need to shower a woman with compliments, attention, or validation to win her over. This is a fatal mistake. By doing this, you place her back in control, allowing her to elicit effort from you with minimal investment on her part. Instead, let her work for your attention. Your value should be self-evident. You don't need to prove it to anyone. Remember, holding your frame isn't just about what you say, it's also about how you carry yourself. Your tone, demeanor, and actions all send a message about whether or not you're in control. Speak with confidence, avoid excessive explanations, and most importantly, never let her see you sweat, even if her behavior frustrates or confuses you. Staying calm and composed is the key. Emotional outbursts or erratic behavior only signal insecurity, which undermines your frame. Understand this. Maintaining your frame also means being willing to walk away if her intentions aren't genuine, if her behavior remains inconsistent, or if she refuses to respect your boundaries. It's not a loss to walk away. Rather, it's a testament to your self-respect. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, A man is not good because of what he has, but because of what he is. A man who values himself will never sacrifice his frame for the fleeting attention of a woman. Hold your ground, maintain your self-respect, and remember that true power comes from knowing your worth and not compromising it for anyone. The power of reverse psychology lies in this very principle. When a woman senses you are no longer dependent on her validation, when she realizes you've lost interest, it triggers a shift in the dynamic. She'll begin to reassess her actions, realizing she must invest more to regain your attention. By not abandoning your frame, you force her to work harder for your presence, and in doing so, you set the stage for a relationship where you remain in control, a man of high value, unwavering in your standards. You are not desperate for her attention. Instead, she will come to see that you are someone worthy of respect, someone who is never afraid to walk away if the situation doesn't meet your standards. Stay firm, and you'll see that the power in relationships doesn't lie in seeking approval, but in commanding respect through your unwavering self-respect and the strength of your frame. 7. Decide whether she fits into your life. When a woman reaches out after a period of absence, the most critical question to ask yourself is whether she truly deserves a place in your life. Many men make the mistake of trying to rekindle connections with women who do not align with their values, goals, or lifestyle. This isn't about holding grudges or seeking revenge. It's about carefully assessing whether she genuinely adds value to your life, or if she would simply disrupt the direction you're headed. Start by being brutally honest with yourself. Why are you even considering re-engaging? Is it because of emotional attachment, a fear of loneliness, or is there a genuine interest to reconnect? If the only reason you're even entertaining the idea of responding is because you miss her or you're hoping for closure, then it's a sign of emotional weakness rather than logic. A high-value man operates from a position of abundance, not scarcity. He doesn't cling to someone simply because they've come back into his life. Instead, he evaluates the situation and asks whether she genuinely fits into the life he's building. Next, take a hard look at her past behavior. Did she ghost you, play games, or disrespect your boundaries? If so, ask yourself if her reaching out now truly changes anything. Has she done anything to prove she's grown, matured, or learned from her past mistakes? If she hasn't taken accountability for her actions or made a sincere effort to repair the damage, it's a major red flag. Time alone doesn't automatically fix things. Without real change, history is likely to repeat itself. Don't fall into the trap of believing that time apart heals all wounds. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "Time heals what reason cannot." Time may pass, but real growth requires introspection and effort. A woman who hasn't taken responsibility for her past actions is likely to repeat those same mistakes, and you deserve someone who respects and values you enough to demonstrate genuine growth. Beyond her past actions, you must also assess her current energy and effort. A woman who genuinely wants to be a part of your life will show it through her actions, not just her words. She'll reach out with purpose, express interest in your life, and demonstrate a willingness to meet the standards you've set for your relationships. If she's vague, inconsistent, or non-committal, that's a clear sign to keep her at arm's length. Words can be enticing, but actions speak louder, and they reveal the true level of her commitment. Think of her behavior as a reflection of how much she values you. If she can't make the effort to show that she cares, she isn't worth your time or energy. Another important factor to consider is whether she fits into your lifestyle and long-term goals. Does she share your values and ambitions? Is she supportive of your priorities, or does she expect you to compromise them for her benefit? If you're focused on building your career or improving yourself, will she respect that focus, or will she distract you with drama and attention-seeking behavior? A woman who is worth keeping in your life will complement your path, not compete with it. She'll understand that your goals are important, and she'll support your journey without trying to derail you for her own convenience. As the great philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." A woman who supports your goals helps clear the path ahead, rather than adding obstacles or distractions. Finally, pay close attention to her intentions. If she's reaching out because she's lonely, bored, or seeking validation, be cautious. Once her temporary needs are met, she may disappear again. Don't allow yourself to be a convenience or an emotional crutch for someone who is simply filling a void. A genuine re-engagement should come from mutual respect and a shared desire to build something meaningful, not from fleeting emotions or self-serving motives. You deserve someone who values you for who you are, not just as a temporary emotional fix. In real life, this means making sure that your relationships align with your values and long-term goals. It's about recognizing when someone is genuinely invested in your growth and when they're merely seeking validation or attention. The most fulfilling connections are those that complement your life, not those that create distractions or derail your progress. So take a step back, evaluate the situation with clarity, and ask yourself, does she truly deserve a place in your life? Or is she simply passing through? The choice is yours. Ultimately, deciding whether a woman fits into your life hinges on one crucial factor: your self-respect. You are not here to be anyone's backup plan or emotional safety net. A woman who is truly interested in reconnecting will demonstrate that through her actions, not just her words. She will align herself with your standards and prove that she is worthy of your time and energy. If she doesn't, then walk away confidently, knowing that you're better off investing in something or someone who values you in return. Life is about forward progress, and if she can't keep pace with where you're heading, there is absolutely no shame in leaving her behind. A man of strength always chooses himself first. When a woman reaches out, take the time to evaluate the situation with clarity and confidence. By maintaining control over your emotions, testing her intentions, and staying true to your own frame, you ensure that any re-engagement serves your needs, not hers. Emotions can cloud judgment, so it's important to remain objective and prioritize your self-respect and long-term goals. A high-value man doesn't settle for inconsistency, manipulation, or someone who fails to meet his standards. Instead, he chooses relationships that align with his values and aspirations, creating a life that enhances his personal growth. Remember, your time is precious. If she proves worthy of it, engage on your terms. If not, walk away knowing that you're better off without her. Your peace, self-respect, and aspirations should always come first. If you find this valuable, comment below and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember, I am a high-value man. And remember, if you're serious about mastering relationships, my community is open. Link is in the description. Don't miss out. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay confident, stay in control, and always remember that your value comes from within. Don't let anyone play with your emotions. Make them prove they're worthy of your time and attention. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next video.